4:30, we're already here. Tomorrow marks President Trump's first 100 days in office for his second term. Since his inauguration, Trump has signed more than 200 executive orders, proclamations, and memos to advance his agenda and change policies. Obviously, a busy first 100 days, to say the least. Welcome back here at 4:30, everyone. I'm Tamara Sakarzik. Let's take a quick look at the big things Trump has made priorities this time around. Of course, one of the biggest moves, immigration. Trump has signed actions and orders to speed up deportations. He's also trimmed the federal workforce. At least 121,000 federal employees have been fired or laid off since Trump took office. And of course, the economy. Trump's aggressive tariff and trade policies are a big talking point right now. Here to help us unpack all of this, NBC 10 political analyst Wendy Schiller. Wendy, it's great to see you.
Good to be here.
So let's start with this. Are you surprised by any of the moves Trump has made so far, or do you think this kind of aligns with what he was saying while on the campaign trail?
I think the steps that President Trump has taken through executive order are what he promised to do. But I think that the attempt to sort of have people who are undocumented be deported or leave the country voluntarily, try to come back in with documentation, has gotten really caught up in some of these sort of surprise raids on individuals in the middle of the day, and then, of course, deporting somebody to a prison in El Salvador. And I'm surprised it has really struck the public's imagination. In other words, the public is paying attention to this and saying, we wanted you to close the border and take care of the border. We're not sure that we like seeing people essentially swooped in and taken away off the street and then shipped out. So I think that's where the Trump administration has to sort of modulate and figure out how it's going to do this in expectations with what voters, I think, thought they were going to get in the Trump immigration policy.
Now, as we mentioned, a lot of the things that Trump has done has been through executive order, but at the same time, he hasn't really had any issues with a Republican-controlled Congress. Do you expect that trend to continue where, they're going to support everything he wants?
Well, the tariffs are a really difficult thing for the Congress and the Republicans. They're import taxes. We pay more money for goods when there's a tariff imposed on them because businesses pay more money for that good to sell it to you in the United States. Everybody in America is affected by that. Republicans running for re-election in the House of Representatives in a year and a half. Senators who are running, they're going to feel it. And they were already feeling it from their constituents about all sorts of Trump policies. The question is, how long do they stick with the president? Do they stand up and say, Congress controls tariff policies, it's a tax, give us back the power to do this and we'll do it with you? Or they hope that he decides to sort of drop them and make sure that as inflation numbers may go up, that the president pulls back a little bit on the tariffs. So far, he doesn't show any indication, of pulling back from Trump's tariffs on China. And that's where we get most of our goods, and that's where our prices will go up.
And like you said, we do see Congress sticking with him and his plan right now. As for Democrats, what should they be doing? I mean, are they just looking ahead to the next presidential election because they can't really do much in Congress?
Democrats have to get their own house in order. Their messaging, even from the Kamala Harris campaign all the way through now, they have to figure out what they stand for, what they do differently. Are they willing to come to the table on the border, for example, which was a big concern to the American public and still is? On inflation, would they cut the government? And if they would, how would they do it? They have to have answers to those questions before they can go out on the road and criticize Trump, because criticizing Trump did not help them win the 2024 election. They lost it, and they have to have something different to deliver to the American people in order to pull those voters away, at least in the 2026 congressional midterms.
This is always a good time to look back at the popularity of presidents. New polling at the 100-day mark shows that Trump's approval ratings are in the low to mid 40s. Any idea how that compares to Biden or even Trump's last term?
Well, Trump actually came in after he won the election in 2024. He's at 54%. Now he's anywhere from 40 to 46%, depends on the poll that you pick. But the point is that they've been going down steadily. And the worrisome thing for the Republicans is that handling of the economy is now he's underwater on, meaning more people disapprove than approve. And that's always been a Republican stronghold and a Trump stronghold. And that's of great concern to the congressional Republicans. So that's what I mean about this bond between Congress and the president, same party. How long do they stick with him before they start saying, hey, we should take a different course? It'll still be a little while, but that's what we're all looking at. And Trump himself doesn't want his numbers to go down. He's almost in Biden territory in terms of approval versus disapproval, but he's not quite there yet.
All right, so of course a lot to consider there. There'll be a lot to look forward to in the future as to whether Congress stays on that train or whether they veer off due to constituent pressure. All right, Wendy, thanks for joining us and providing your insight. We appreciate it.
It's great to be here.